Welcome to the Decelerator. Yes, people, back again with the Decelerator podcast. On the panel today, we got a couple entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, like not looking at anyone. Like,
Started with a joke.
Really nice introduction from
straight out the gate, he's going for his
Yes.
neck. But yeah, on the panel today, we'll start
with
introduce
Alvaro.
yourself.
Hello, Alvaro here. Every Tuesday, very excited to be with you guys. We're doing this once again, the Decelerator. Let me pass the microphone to my friend Izu.
So this is Ishadin Hassan, the founder of Football Times, and don't bring up the football game. Manchester United versus Chelsea.
We'll keep moving.
Absolutely
17th
terrible.
of February.
This is why I'm against VAR. Then we have the meticulous Malden, who's an accountant by trade.
CEO of Runtractive app and Runtrack Sports.
And
Nick, hello there. This is me. I'm working for a company that connects musicians with venues.
working or founding?
I mean, I do both, right?
Technically, yeah.
That's true.
So it's kind of.
Yeah. Cool. So the first topic.
Of today, who thought about the first
It's
topic
Marvin's
of today?
topic, actually.
I'm
It's
bringing
Marvin's
I'm
topic.
bringing the
Okay,
first topic
explain
today,
us a
yeah.
little bit. What do you want to talk about?
Cool. So the first topic I want to bring up is bootstrapping your company.
Bootstrapping. What does that mean?
Any of you don't want to explain it?
Essentially, like, if you want to bootstrap a company, you're not generally planning to raise any funds. You're doing it by yourself, with maybe something you had saved or just the knowledge you have. And generally, the growth is much slower than for like VC funded or any like capital funded companies. But at the same time, you keep the majority of your shares or like your equity, and sort of work slower but maybe more steadily on this. So that's
Basically, yeah.
I guess something like that.
Bootstrapping is basically starting your company with basically nothing.
Like by yourself? Like
By yourself, literally.
you're in the
Yeah.
road there.
So I thought today we'll probably start by talking about what bootstrapping is, talk around the idea, and hopefully from the conversation around the end we'll be able to come up with some good tips just to give back to the audience.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know. Like let's start, guys. Like I think obviously bootstrapping is not for everyone. First, like in terms of.
But to be fair, like at the moment, all of us are bootstrapping.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
technically we are. But for example, someone like Alvaro, he can't like move forward. Like I think he needs an investor. I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, for example, I'm building this really cool app. Yeah, like I'm very talented. Like I have no doubt of my skills or whatever. You know, like.
Very humble as well.
Humbleness is my main skill.
Is it
my main
humbleness or
attribute.
satire?
Yeah. However, imagine that if I wanted to finish my mobile application, the one I'm doing right now, like fully finished, like something that is properly presentable as a product.
Yeah.
It will take me probably 1 or 2 years on the road.
What, do it by yourself?
Yes, like do it by myself, and I don't even know if I'm gonna get it right.
Yeah.
You know, like I do require a team. I do require investment.
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation with many entrepreneurs with tech products out there. You know, like whether they were, like again, it depends. But whether you even like, it could be from something as small as a website, as a platform that you want to build, until something crazy as this new mobile app that is gonna change the industry. So, I don't know. Like it's pretty tough. What about you guys? Like, do you think, Marvin, that you can bootstrap basically with the idea that you have right now?
Yeah. Personally, for me, I feel like I was gonna ask you because I've won a few competitions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, does that bring
humbleness everywhere? Humbleness everywhere.
Now we're gonna go again into like ITV story.
Am I still?
You know, when I was on ITV, you know, I remember
this guy went to
ITV.
ITV, Forbes, GQ, the listener bands.
GQ and that soon, GQ soon. No.
How many kids does he say?
No, but his business actually focuses on saving children. It's a really good business.
Yeah, it's a really good business.
But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Yeah. But like it's see, now I lost my point completely. Like, what I was going to talk about.
No, you said that you won a competition, so
so basically, am I classed as a bootstrapper?
Yeah, definitely.
Because because so as a bootstrapper, you literally start from nothing. You can
Exactly.
realistically you rely on the 3 Fs in it:
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
family, and fools to basically fund you in it.
Yeah.
Am I saying the people that funded me were fools, or what part are they in? That what part of that are they in? So I don't know if I'm.
No, so like,
I'm still classed because I haven't raised nothing close to what I actually needed. So
yeah.
it's-
From my understanding, like, you are still bootstrapping unless you're giving part of your company away.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
you won a competition
Yeah.
essentially,
a
and
few, yeah.
You got
yeah,
some
a few
free cash.
competitions. You got a bit of cash.
But it was not nowhere near enough that what I need.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think like for all our listeners who are probably entrepreneurs,
Mm.
like, you have to bootstrap. Like, there's
That's
no
it, yeah.
going.
Mm.
There's no two ways about it. You have to begin by bootstrapping. At least have some sort of
I
minimum
don't really
viable
think so. I don't
product.
think it's a necessity. I mean, you can.
No, for most businesses. Obviously, some businesses you can't do that, but
Mm.
I think actually, my assumption would be majority of tech businesses, if you want to make it big, you should not bootstrap. Like, you should start raising money, because a lot of investors you'd go to, like when I was talking to people who are doing like angel investment, etc., they don't want your product to be on the market when they invest in. They're like, well, I want to invest when you have a product ready. I love the product, but it's not on the market yet.
that is, I'm surprised to hear that, because like my assumption has always been that investors are more likely to invest in you if you have already done something and you can show that, you know, you're a go-getter, you don't have excuses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have some sort of
Yeah, I probably agree with.
yeah.
But I get where Nick's coming from, but I probably
Yeah.
would agree with issue. And,
Yeah.
It's interesting though. It's interesting. There's a lot of companies that have bootstrapped in it, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of companies bootstrapped in it and been like super successful from it. So, but at the same time, if you ask them, like, would you have got investment earlier if you had the choice?
Yeah.
Most of them would have said yes, because a lot of them actually do go for investment but don't get it, which is why they end up bootstrapping.
But I
So-
feel like, isn't it much
Mm.
harder to sell an idea without anything than to sell, like, if you haven't committed any resources into a business, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be harder to get some sort of external investment?
I mean,
I
you
don't know.
you commit like resources in terms of maybe you build an MVP for it. I'm talking about like a purely tech product at the moment, right? So you built an MVP.
So you
did some
bootstrapped to
market
build the
research.
MVP.
We don't bootstrap; we just build it. Like
Yeah,
like
you
if
use your own
bootstrap-
resources to.
Fair, but like if you're bootstrapping, like I think it always like entails that you actually do the business. Like you look for
Like,
customers.
You actually got already some sort of transaction at least to do the bootstrapping. Like I was gonna ask you guys the same, because like I'm still a bit confused in this situation. So for example, like obviously for any idea, like you will need to have something done. You cannot just be like, you know, like, oh, I have this idea, I'm gonna start looking for investment right away. You at least need to prove that you have some research, you have an MVP, and you know, like, it's not just whether you want to bootstrap or not. Like, that should be part of the game, like in both cases, yeah. But at one moment does it become, you know, like bootstrapping, like when you have your first customer, when you're actually putting your product out there in the market. I think maybe that's more or less where I will say, you know, like, okay, you have bootstrapped, you have made your way from an idea to launching the product by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so then apart from, you know, like investments,
But it's not just launching. I think the product. You actually operate the product.
Yeah.
You offer a service.
yeah,
Without trying to involve any capital. Actually, this guy on, like, he's very popular on Twitter, I think, and he, like, on YouTube more or less, and he made this book called Make. I'm trying to pronounce his name correctly. Peter Levels. He's from Netherlands, but he generally lives in like Southeast Asia, etc. And so what he does, for example, he has this website called I think Digital Nomads or something like that, which is a service that it's a free service if you look at it, and it's just kind of a ranking of countries and cities which are good for digital nomads around the world. So for example, you don't want to live in the UK, you want to go, say you have a job here, maybe remotely, or you have your own business that you can do online, and you just want to move somewhere which is cheaper, but you need to know where you can find a good internet connection, so you can, because you have to rely on your computer,
yeah.
and your like business or whatever work to do online. You need to make sure where the healthcare is good and things like that.
Yeah.
And so then like you can just go on that website and find those people. Oh, sorry, not those people. Like we have a bit of disruption behind the
I
camera.
think you lost your train of thought.
Fans looking at us from the window.
There's a.
Autographs later, guys.
It's very modest of you.
Everyone being humble.
So he provides this website where you can find places which are good for digital nomads, etc. And he did it by himself without bringing in investors. Pretty much the whole website is like one PHP file. It's a good website. I don't know if you want to like look it up. Like,
Yeah, digitalnomads.com.
Yeah. If you go to there,
I was
just look up digital nomads.
so going back to Alvaro's point in it earlier when you were speaking about like when is it actually classed as bootstrapping in it. I was actually reading a book from a guy called like
Nomad List. Yeah, Nomad List.
Oh, carry on.
Yeah, go. So sorry, the name was Nomad List, not Digital Nomads.
Let's just check the website real quick and then we can carry on.
I think our internet connection doesn't allow us to do it very quickly. But
So join a global community of international travelers working remotely around the world.
so his business model in this case is actually something an extra tier on the top of the website where he charges people a monthly fee for joining the community.
Mhm.
So people can join the community and communicate with
How much
people
does
in
he
those
charge
regions.
per month?
I think it's about $10 per month. If you
$10
look
per month.
somewhere above on top, there's a sign up.
Yeah.
What's this called?
So normally
So what
$1.99.
does this tool allow you to do? Like, so you work remotely, yeah. But what would you use this tool for?
So if you don't want to stay in one place,
Okay.
and you need to go find out which place you want to go to,
Yeah.
or if you say still somewhere in your like home country or whatever, and you would like to go somewhere but you don't know where to go, it's sort of like an index that shows you which places are good, which places are cheap enough for you to live, which places are safe enough, which places are like I don't know have good
cool.
like I don't know.
You know, I'm just
Weather.
looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like
We'll
the.
definitely leave the link in the description, innit?
Yeah, I'm looking for the About Us page to see if Nick founded this website. He's like really plugging it.
Imagine that, like he's the one actually.
Well,
Just
I'm
doing some inbound
marketing
marketing right now.
I'm plugging it because the person is quite big behind the ideology of bootstrapping in
Yeah.
general. I think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
one of the
Okay.
most like I've heard about him from like a few friends or like ex-colleagues of mine. It was like, oh yeah, have you heard of this guy? I was like, oh, who is that guy? He's like, oh yeah, it's like this and that. I was like, oh, okay, it's like actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And he has a few other projects, like you can see, for example, Hire Remotely on top, which is another website technically, Remote OK, which is a place to find remote jobs online. And he I think he charges some money for posting the ads.
Yeah.
And all of those projects are making decent money, I would assume.
So he charges $400 to post a job.
Mm.
Wow. Crazy.
That is like, why can't you just post it on Indeed or another job
Gumtree,
website?
innit?
Well, maybe he has the access to a really good database of
Workers.
remote
I would assume he has a good following. And because of the first product, which targets those people who travel generally from Western world to like Asia to live cheaply, those are the potential customers. So he just advertises second product to his customers of his first product,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. But the idea there, like as he's one of the promoters of this whole idea, is that you don't need investors, you don't need like hire developers. Pretty much, if you need to hire somebody, it's already complicating. You know, you need to either save up money or you need to get an investor and borrow money to pay a developer, for example. But this guy says like, just learn how to code yourself. You know, like learn how to build some simple web apps and sort of create them.
I would definitely agree with that. And have you guys heard of the no code movement?
Yeah.
What do you think? I think Nick had strong opinions about this.
I want to say, it's trash, but I do have a fairly strong opinion
Yeah.
about
What's the
that.
no-code movement?
No code
Yeah,
movement.
what is it?
Yeah.
It's
so-
basically like there's
It's a
some
movement that promotes
no code. Yeah, so there are a few websites where you can go to and literally build your own websites or applications without knowing a word of code. That's
Yeah.
essentially the movement.
basically just drag and drop stuff.
Drag and drop,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And a lot of people, some people say that it's the future of the internet because
Yeah.
the developers You don't need a
find some
developer.
links to some. Leave them in the
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Go on, sorry.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's bad as such. I think it's a great way to maybe if you have a prototype, you have an MVP to test, and you just don't want to devote like developers' time to building some like connection, etc. That absolutely amazing tools like Zapier, etc. that allow you to do a lot of stuff within a short period of time that would otherwise take you a lot of time to develop. But a lot of it is not so scalable. You know, a lot of those like third-party platforms that, for example, I don't know, allows you to build a website.
Yeah.
They start charging you more the more clients you have, etc., etc. Then
Yeah.
you run into the limits like, oh, but I want this functionality there, and they're like, well, unfortunately, we cannot provide this functionality. And then you have to search for another platform.
Yeah.
But I think on
And
the
then-
decelerator, we want to encourage people to just go out there and have something
And try
initially to
stuff,
try
yeah.
something, start something up first.
Definitely, you need to start
Exactly,
somewhere.
and then-
you know, like these platforms. Well, there is platforms for everyone, to say it that way. As Nick said, you know, no, some of them they may not be easily scalable. I think if you want to be like a large corporation, obviously you will need to have your own website built from scratch.
Yeah.
But you know, like there are some things that the system is already developed, like
Yeah.
you know, like we have plenty of cases, like even in the startup incubator that we are right now, like we have one of our friends that is doing like some sort of a Just Eat platform.
Yeah.
Like I have told that person, you know, like just bought it done, like it's done already.
Yeah.
Why do you need to build it from scratch when
Yeah.
it's done out there?
Mm.
Okay, maybe later on you don't want to share the profits or anything, but you can actually buy the software and then as a blank product, and then you know, like
And it's like
Yeah.
that for like a lot of businesses. Like,
yeah,
A lot of people think it's harder than it actually
yeah,
is.
it's
to
much easier to just
build
start.
like an MVP version. Yeah,
80% of what you guys are thinking has already been done.
That's the
Just
true,
kidding.
yeah.
That's the truth. Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
a lot of very simple business models could be emulated by creating some like landing page and like
Yeah.
what's this company called that does the forms, you know?
MailChimp.
No, like the form. It's like they're doing like lovely kind of beautiful forms you can submit, etc. It was in on just right here, and then it's not any longer there. We like you probably come across it like every day somewhere.
We'll put it on a link in the description.
The forms.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is that like
Survey Monkey, like
no, it was something.
Google Forms.
Google Forms.
That could be an option as well. I didn't mean Google Forms, but it was another one. But essentially, it's like that one, for example, even has integration with companies like Stripe, etc., where you can literally you can have a landing page, you can have a form, person fills something in, and then makes a payment. That's it. So you can like charge with the landing page easily.
Wow, that's crazy. A
I'm
lot
sorry,
of people
Marvin, you were
actually do
saying.
that. You know,
No.
like a lot of drop shipping business models.
Yeah.
Like they do that. Like they just build the landing page.
You just yeah.
buy it at that moment.
Literally,
Boom.
my brother
you
does
get
that
it
as well.
into
Just
your
builds
hands,
a quick drop. Like any like Valentine's Day's coming up, he'll build a quick website, find some products, start trying to
What
sell
does
it.
he sell?
Whatever's
trending.
Whatever's trending.
That's-
I
Basically.
remember he started selling security cameras, right?
Around
Like
Christmas.
security
innit?
Oh, really?
A lot of people get burgled around Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
Ah.
boom. Yeah, just like it's all about just like.
Yeah.
Wait, so
It's another business opportunity.
What
What
are
are
you
you
selling
laughing
cameras
at?
for burgling houses?
oh my.
Should not comment on that.
So you know the topic that we're talking about today is bootstrapping.
Bootstrapping.
So
yeah.
what was your opinion of it?
No,
Yeah.
So, like, I was reading a book by some guy called Seth Gordon. The book's actually free. You can find you can find it online. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called something. It's something bootstrapping, but we'll put it in the description as well. And he basically said bootstrapping you shouldn't see it as a process. You should see it as a mindset. It's sort of the way I sort of took that, or the way the way that I analyze that is like you sort of need to have like a hustler's
Mentality.
mentality,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah, the way you're like the way you treat your business, innit? It's like you like that Drake song, and it started from the bottom.
Now
you're gonna have to actually try. Yeah, you just basically gotta have that hustler's mentality in it. Like, if you actually want to bootstrap your company from like zero to hero sort of thing. So yeah, it was interesting, innit? Yeah. And
Well-
because of the mentality you have, because a lot of investors actually want to invest in like
The
the
person.
entrepreneur, the
Yeah.
person. if they see that you've got that mentality, they see you're hungry, they see you've got a long-term vision, they see you've done so much, they're going to be more willing to invest in you. They're going to be more willing to come to you, and now you have the power. Now you don't have to give away as much equity. Now you can ask for more money. So it's like, yeah. So I've sort of like took the way I've understood bootstrapping is basically how Seth Godin sort of like analysed it, I would say.
Wow. Do you guys think though that the bootstrapping depends also of the type of person you are? Like what if you're
Exactly,
like in
that's
a
what I
9 to
wanted
5
to say.
job and you know like job actually limits the amount of time you can
Yeah.
actually spend
Yeah.
developing your business thing. You
But-
will need to find ways to.
So this
to
is
make
one
it.
of the things, right? Like one of the reasons for bringing in investment is that you can pay yourself a salary while you're working on your project.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, go on.
And another thing is that you're looking essentially. My assumption is that if you take a venture capital funded startup and like a bootstrap startup, the people behind them are very different individuals in the way what they like,
Yeah.
because a person who's looking to involve like a large capital investment is likely looking for high returns.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
person who is behind like a bootstrap business is likely not looking for like hundreds of millions on exit. They're probably looking for a lifestyle that is very comfortable for them. You can be getting 10,000, you can be getting $100,000 per month. While I guess with a venture capital is that you get some salary, it's not so high, but you oftentimes more like sort of rely on the exit.
Yeah.
The financial exit of the company, say where you're gonna get maybe a few million or 100 million or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
and then you're like, oh, luck if you're lucky, right? If it works out, and I think fundamentally like the mentality of those two types of founders should be very very different.
Yeah, yeah. I think it also comes down to like, do you need it or do you want it? Because there's been like
Yeah.
companies in the past in it who have actually like got investment and it's just sitting there. They just
Mm.
they thought, oh, we might need it in the future, or everyone else is getting investment. Let's get some. And now you've got this money that you don't really need. You don't really know what you're gonna spend it on. But then you've got all this pressure now from the VCs and investors who are constantly wanting you to hit certain targets, and you've got reports now you have to hit, and it's just like, did you need that pressure at that point, that early on? So maybe the question is like, maybe a majority of entrepreneurs maybe should bootstrap for a certain extent
Yeah.
to help you build a mindset, but then how long should you basically bootstrap for, maybe? So it's, but yeah, so
So yeah.
someone like you basically, like you said, you need investment basically.
Yeah, like I need investment.
You
Like
can't
it would
move
be
forward, yeah.
ridiculous for me to think that okay, like I'm gonna finish building the application like in 2 years and then
Yeah.
I'm finally gonna sell it.
Yeah.
By that time, maybe another company has already done the same
True.
and
Yeah.
start selling it, and even better than what I'm gonna produce at the end by myself. So I need a team. I need investment. I need
Yeah.
money, guys. Please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a PayPal link at the description of this video. Let's go.
The thing about it, ideas like mine and Nick's, yeah, like
Yeah.
the whole double-sided platform idea, like literally we could like if we were bootstrapping it to the extreme. Let's say we like didn't have a job, we really wanted to bootstrap it from the bottom. We literally could just made an Instagram page or Facebook page, build a following. I'll build a following with like, my sports
and I
network.
start doing
He
what
builds a
you're
following
aiming
with
to
music
do
and
manually.
venues, yeah, and start
then-
doing it
yeah.
manually. Because you literally can start like that, and when you build that following, it's like you've proven your idea to yourself, you've proven your idea to maybe your family and friends, or
Yeah,
it'll be easier to get some sort of investment to start. after that.
definitely.
But yeah, I never did
Definitely.
that. Luckily, I found like a good web designer who believed in my idea and was willing to charge me a lower price.
That's good, bro. That's
Yeah.
good. Well,
Thank you, Sue.
so that was an interesting topic.
I feel like my opinion about this bootstrapping thing is basically bootstrapping entails you having full control of your business. I mean, people have said that.
Exactly.
And so it's really like I am pro bootstrapping to the max. You know, a lot of people advise us you should get co-founders and stuff. I don't know you got your opinions, but like I feel like if you can do it alone, if you can retain a
You
majority
can-
of your company.
But you can bootstrap with a co-founder.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah, you
definitely,
can,
you
yeah,
can,
yeah, yeah.
But like this is the separate
If you-
topic.
yeah,
But like I don't know, I feel like I want to be.
now to co-founders and people that want to get into your business.
Yeah, I feel like I would
Which
want
is-
to be like the only co-founder. I feel like I don't want to dilute.
You're very particular about the way you want things.
Exactly.
In life.
My
I noticed
management,
that, yeah.
my management style is
Yeah,
very.
yeah.
But that says a lot
particular.
about yourself, though. Like,
It is,
like
it does.
How good are you with in terms of
Working
working with other
yeah.
people? Like,
That's the thing.
like, are you enjoying sharing this table with us right now? Do you want to be the star of
does he want to be alone?
Do you want to be the star of the decelerator?
That is a good question, which I shall answer only to the fans later on.
Oh,
No, but I'm actually joking. But honestly, in terms of bootstrapping, if you want to show that you're a go-getter, at least borrow some money from your friends, from your family, and try doing something as little as or as much as it is.
buy Bitcoin.
Do you think
Probably gonna lose everything.
You started a YouTube channel from 0 subscribers to like 500,000 subscribers? Is
Yeah.
that bootstrapping? Would you say? Like,
I would say yes.
yeah, I'll say yes as well. Like,
That definitely
It
is.
is bootstrapping.
It is
1,000,
bootstrapping.
500.
Also, like relating to what you're saying is that imagine like if you have an investor who, or like actually a few investors and like with a board of like directors in the company who they're gonna tell you what to do essentially. This way
Exactly.
we don't want you to go into this market. We want you to go in that market.
Yeah.
Wherever it's some benefits other than money they're pursuing, whatever else. It's sort of I mean
I would say it's like a mindset, because let's say you haven't bootstrapped, you haven't struggled, and then you get a $2 million investment. You're just gonna blow that money on silly stuff that you wouldn't have done if you held on to your resources tightly and spent it correctly.
But then it can also probably prevent you from scaling well, because you always in your mindset you just know how to operate with a really low.
Yeah,
Sometimes
finance.
our attachment to things, like may take us may make us take the wrong path sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
like
Do you not feel like your companies are like your babies? Like, do you feel that?
yeah, that's the thing.
Do you feel that?
Yes,
feel
like
real
I
attached,
believe that,
yeah.
and like actually, if you read this book, The Lean Startup as well, like that's what it's telling you. Sometimes, like the what's happening right now in the market is like why many startups fail is because people are building things that nobody wants.
Yeah.
And that's because you're so obsessed with the idea. Like you're so obsessed that like, okay, this is my idea, this is the solution, this is the problem, but it's all like reflected on maybe your own problem or your own like what the Lean Startup proposes is, like, okay, we're gonna make like a minimum valuable product like as soon as possible, develop whatever you can, like the main functionality, actually go out there, show it to the people that are interested, and from then start building a product based on the user, not on what you think it is.
It's true.
So that's also a big part of it. I'm sorry I'm going out of it off
No, what
topic,
you're
but
saying is true, like,
Yeah. I agree.
There's also another part to this as well, where people who are bootstrapping in it, like the importance of becoming profitable is different from whether you've got investment. So if you've got an investment, it seems like now you've got. It seems like you can. It's the growth is the most important factor.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of profitability versus growth in it, and I feel like when you're bootstrapping, profitability is like so important because you don't you're dead basically. Yeah, you finished it. Yeah.
All of us like a bit of food.
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. Yeah, but when you actually got investment, it gives you a bit of leeway. Yeah, you can just focus more on growth, building a user base, and so yeah, there's companies that have obviously I think bootstrapped and been able to just still grow their user base and become profitable. Like I think it's Hootsuite. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah.
You definitely heard of them. But I feel like that's another conversation anyway. Profitability versus growth. Yeah, that's a whole other topic we have to speak about.
And it's a choice. Like a lot of companies that are even the ones that are raising investments, they are in the situation where they have to decide whether they want to just turn themselves into profitable companies or just continue spending the money they've raised to grow, which is it's like, okay, shall I give away a bit of I don't know, profit but I'll get like twice as much in a couple of years.
Anyway, now before we give them tips now about how to probably bootstrap, do any of you know how the term bootstrap came about?
I do.
Okay, boot.
I asked one I found out the other day. Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Apparently it was a saying back in the day, like 18th or 19th century.
Yeah.
Like it's for an impossible task, innit?
Yeah.
So let's say there was a kid in it who was carrying there's a big bag of like hay or sand that he couldn't carry in it. The dad will beat him like, oh, pull your bootstraps up, son. Go on, go do it. It's like it's an impossible task. Like it's a phrase for an impossible task.
My understanding of the history of the term was basically lifting yourself up by the bootstraps. It's actually like an economic policy that a lot of Republicans believe in.
He took it a whole different way.
No,
Yeah,
like genuinely, like they call it
that probably
trickle
where-
down economics. So like the most deprived people in society are generally expected to like pull themselves up
That's
by the
probably where
bootstraps.
obviously it probably originally
So
come
it's
from it, and then it got transformed into what I said, and now it's transformed
into this business
term of like starting something from the bottom, basically starting
Yeah.
something challenging from the bottom. It's basically what it basically means now in this day and age, sort of.
Oh, we have
Yeah.
more fans coming for us.
We
like.
have
Yeah.
some
Oh,
echo
relax,
coming in.
They're very popular today.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah,
There's something.
the sound isolations.
Is it better?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So let's
Wait,
keep going. What
should
else
we
do we
do
have to
another
talk
test?
about today?
Should we
huh?
just give? Should we
No,
all
no,
give
just
like?
continue.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah,
carry
good.
We're gonna cut that bit out.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Cool. Alright, so we all give like one tip each for bootstrapping. What's your best tip you think? Like, you wanna start?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll just say my tip is build your MVP. I think Alvaro said this earlier on. There are a lot of applications. I would recommend WordPress. I don't know, some people are against WordPress, but it's a free, open-ended platform that you could do a lot on, especially if you have a double-sided platform or whatever it may be. And you can learn this yourself. You don't even need a developer for this, and it will get you from point A to point B, and will show that, you don't give excuses. You actually just go out and get it done. So I think my tip would be that. What about?
Well, other tip can be, like make user-centered products. Like I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to think about who are you selling this for, and the idea that you have to make them happy, not your own expectations and your own ideas happy. So that will allow you to get a better product at the end and get more traction, more sales, whatever you want to achieve. Carry on.
So my advice would be like find any way you can to raise funds. Like I said earlier, the 3Fs, family, friends, and fools. Like try build as much like funds as you can from there. I'll also say get a part-time job if you can. Like even if it's just 2 days a week, 1 day a week. Like and
It's important, isn't it?
yeah, and if you don't want a part-time job, like if you freelance, because freelance, the freelance industry is growing. Like even like everyone thinks if to be a freelancer you have to be in some sort of like artistic sort of route. But no, you can be an accountant and be a freelancer. Like it's basically what I'm doing.
And like on that point, like being a freelancer, a lot of startups have actually done this. Like they have their main business, which they're trying to push,
Yeah.
and then they have like a side business, some
Yeah.
sort of consultancy thing,
Exactly.
where
The
like have you heard of Slidebean?
Yeah, Slidebeam. Yeah.
They like release their whole founding story. It's like a PowerPoint equivalent.
Mm.
They give you like beautiful templates to
Mm.
pitch your businesses on, and then they had like this amazing story about how they built a second revenue stream, and then that kept them from getting a second job, and like it made them focus on the business and developing it. So that's actually a really good tip.
Because that was also what I was also going to say. If you can freelance, like, and if you can freelance on the job you're doing, if you can make it related to your company, you can also just be pushing customers towards your actual main company as well. So yeah, just find any way you can to just raise funds. Like that's what I'd say. Like,
Yeah, that's good.
What about-
and win a few competitions as well.
What about Nick?
Well, I mean, maybe iterate on the product so you can, well, once you don't have a lot of responsibility towards your investors or any other people who like give you funds or whatever. And in case you don't have a lot of users, and probably if you're bootstrapping, you don't really. So,
yeah.
so
A little bit of shade for the
but maybe you can have a lot. Yeah, you can have a lot of users. But you can probably iterate through different versions of your product and find like the best fit, which is maybe a bit more difficult to do when you have like a big corporate clients, when you're like venture capital funded. So yeah, I don't know. It's good.
That's good, guys. What else do we have to talk about today? Let's move topic from the decelerator.
What's the next
From
topic?
decelerator. Well, actually, I guess continuing on the on bootstrapping is like as I mentioned, when you use, like if you create an MVP to test, if you can sell something, you probably want to charge money.
Yeah.
And in the past, it was quite difficult to do on the internet because technically you need quite a lot of certifications to be able to charge money, to process money online. Yet now, a lot of companies such as Stripe, Adyen...
excellent segue, I like that.
I think
a nice segue to the topic.
like Lightspeed does it as well, Square,
PayPal,
PayPal, Braintree, which was bought by PayPal.
Alibaba, Pay. They do have a payment processing
Yeah.
solution.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it really used like in
It's you. It's, I
among
think
our audience?
we never
Right
know
now,
where we
probably
might
not.
grow.
Right now,
Okay,
probably
fair.
not, but yeah.
Yeah.
So there's, as on the side point, maybe somebody can respond in comments as well. So there is a Chinese YouTube, kind of like YouTube-like platform called Bilibili.
Oh.
That,
I don't think that's a name.
no.
That definitely
It's,
is.
Google, look it up. What is it? I'll do it. It's Bile.
Wait,
No, Bilili.
Bao.
No, it's I, not E. Sorry,
Billy.
Bilibili. No,
It's a nice song.
Is that it?
no. Right, CN. Okay, I'll show you on my computer. I have it in my in save tabs. But essentially, it's like a Chinese version of YouTube, which is because you can't watch YouTube without
A VPN.
VPN or any
VPN,
other
yeah.
special things in China.
Yeah.
And maybe we should post there as well in English. Maybe somebody would enjoy it.
For work, maybe.
Some Chinese followers over there. Ni hao.
I guess a lot of people now just sit in home anyway, not at work in China. So
My cousin is like a boxer, innit?
Yeah.
Like quite a big guy, innit? Like, went to China, innit? Like, and it was so funny, innit? Because it's like, he's walking around, yeah, and everyone's just looking at him, innit? Everyone's just like looking at him. And obviously, he didn't take it as racist, and he just understands that they're not obviously
Used to-
they're not used to seeing someone like him as well. Like, you get me?
Used to
Get me
seeing-
that dark chocolate skin. They're not used to seeing that. You get? So it was like, someone did come up to him and they were like, "Oh, like, can I touch it? Can I touch the skin? Like, can I see what it feels like?" Because I know they're probably thinking it's a whole different material, innit? They're not understanding.
Wow.
Like, you get, yeah. But yeah, so they rubbing his skin. They're like, "Can we take picture?"
Wow.
And people coming up to him, innit? Like, they were just like, "Ah."
So did he let them touch it?
Yeah, he just was like,
Oh, wow.
forget it, innit? Boom, yeah, yeah, because everyone was taking pictures around him. He felt like a celebrity, so he thought, yeah, let me just do it, innit? And they were coming up to him, and they were shouting some. I don't even want to say, but they were like, oh, look, he's Michael Jordan. And they were like, yeah.
Is that your Chinese accent?
But I've got a very bad. I'm decent accents, innit? But I've got a bad Chinese accent.
Wow.
Look, it's Michael
It's Michael
Jordan.
Jordan. They'll be just screaming like, it's LeBron James. Yeah, they'll be screaming stuff like, yeah. But it was so funny, innit? When he told me the story and he come back. And my brother went to China like literally just like a couple months ago, and he said it was similar. They would just come up to him like, can I take a picture, please? But it wasn't as like bad as it was back then. Because my cousin went like a couple years ago, but my brother went recently, innit? Yeah, he said especially in the gym, innit? Like when he's in the gym, innit? You know, like he's all just like he's quite a big black guy as well, innit? So he's just like pumping weights, like, and he said, yeah, they'll just kept staring at him, innit? They're like, can we take a picture? Can we
You know,
record? And he was just like,
I'm
yeah,
just sitting here thinking, how does this relate to Stripe? Like, honestly.
my bad. No, it's just, how did we get to China again? Like, oh,
did you start charging money for pictures? That's what you mean.
that's what I told him to do. He was like, no, I didn't do that. Could
Wow.
have been a nice little revenue stream. Like,
He's a
told
bad
him multiple revenue
capitalist.
streams. Like, eight. You need 8 different revenue streams to become a millionaire. That could have been one. You get me?
Wow.
Yeah, 8 per year, not even 8. You know, like 8 per year. Like,
8, like,
yeah,
oh,
because
8 per
from
year,
those
you're
8,
right, yeah,
you
yeah.
never know which one is gonna fail. Like,
True.
Yeah, like proper entrepreneurs, you know, they open like around 8 to 10 companies. To
I would have been charging £5 for a stroke on my skin. That's what I would have been doing if I was him. But he just like, you know.
Is it like prostitution technically?
Oh yeah, it kind of.
I mean, it's not,
because
like-
they're not getting aroused off it, so it's not. It can't be prostitution.
I don't think
No,
that would
it's
be
not, yeah, really.
classified as
Mm,
prostitution.
And there's no. It's not like a sexual thing they're doing it. They're just
But
more.
even-
they're
but
more intrigued.
I
innit?
think even like sexual
Mm.
massage is generally is not classified as prostitution and is
sexual
legal.
massages.
Unless you get a happy ending. That's,
What is the
that's what-
difference between a sexual massage and that normal and you know like
I think
normal-
a sexual one.
No
they'll go
penetration.
between like the thighs and that like. They were like, let's say he's a female and a male. He'll be going. They should be going between the thighs and going to the like, sexual places. Like,
Well, but
let's
that
say
is
you're-
technically like masturbating you.
I think,
I think it
we're
counts.
we're just, I was silent for too long, but
Why are you picking so much?
I think, I don't know, but I was silent for too long, but we have to get back on topic
Oh, yeah,
because
my
most of this is not going to be, I don't think it's appropriate. And I just let you guys go.
Every time. Look at his like
5 minutes.
Look at
Did you
his
talk about that for 5 minutes?
look,
Okay, let's go.
look at his
So-
scribblings. And
This
that.
guy
It's like,
represents the media. He doesn't tell you
let
what
the
you guys
truth,
want to
yeah,
hear.
No, it's,
we need to like get back on track.
This is basically
So wait,
BBC, like.
can I was like waiting for you guys
ITV,
to self-censor, but clearly it's not happening. So I have to step in.
but at least now it's fun
Self-censor,
because it was
what
like
is
quite
that?
boring before that.
Yeah.
At least
Okay.
now we're enjoying
Yeah,
it.
so let's-
What does
let's-
that even mean? Self-censor?
Before we
You
get
brought
to
up
it.
Alibaba for some reason.
Oh yeah, you
brought up
yeah,
Bill,
you
Bio
brought
Bell,
Alibaba,
Bill,
yeah.
Really,
Very
really,
big, yeah. Very big is okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to ask before we get back to Stripe. How did you guys find your weekends? Like, I think us three were together for Saturday,
Okay.
Ah.
and
yeah.
Alvaro.
That wasn't bad, yeah.
I wasn't here, but
Yeah.
how is that related to payments?
No, because
I
like
don't
there was we went to a business conference. And
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, personally, I didn't have the chance to go. Like I was in another place.
Yeah.
But how did it go, guys?
Do you
Like,
feel
let me know.
devastated?
Huh?
Do you feel
That I
devastated?
didn't go?
Yeah.
Actually, not that much.
Nah, trust me, it was a waste of time.
Not that
Trust me,
much,
no,
but-
no.
I would
Yeah.
say like most of it was not relevant, but like
Do you know what it is? It's because
I don't know.
I've been to so many of them, so now it's just become like I know what they're gonna talk about. I know I'm not benefiting from them as much.
exactly.
What I benefit from is meeting the different entrepreneurs that are there.
Yeah.
That's what I benefit
like
for. Yeah.
going there to network.
Literally, yeah. The link, like getting. So I literally just go to these events to get people's LinkedIn, meet new people,
Yeah,
and obviously me and Nick were lucky to get a little mentoring session with some multi-millionaire. And
he gave you some
I would
practical
love to
tips.
say his
Yeah,
name.
yeah, actually,
If I say his
that
name,
was
he's
really
gonna blur it out.
So in a percentage, like out of the 100% of conference that you guys heard during the weekend, like
Yeah.
how much was useful from all of it?
Percentage-wise?
Literally.
What
Yeah,
would you say?
percentage wise.
I
mean,
would say
We went to Breakfast Club, which is like a food chain, like a restaurant. It was really
Okay.
good.
You can get chicken and waffles,
Yeah.
or buttermilk biscuits and.
Oh,
He was
so-
drinking his juice, so this guy's like juicing now. Let's do the juice
I
diet.
didn't
So it
know.
was just like, we were eating proper food.
Okay, I am sad that I missed that actually.
Yeah.
I love
It
it.
looked so nice. I was watching them eating it. Yeah, but,
Yeah.
he was just like giving it like my stomach
took a
started hurting
picture.
afterwards.
I took a picture of that.
oh, it was so nice.
It was
I
I was
amazing. But
chewing my juice in it, just pretending it was actually like waffles in it. Or something. It was so nice. I was watching it.
But in terms of the events, I would say out of 100%, maybe 15, 20, to
Yeah.
15 to 20%.
Yeah,
That's
somewhere
so
there.
poor, man. That's so poor. What about you, Marvin?
I was gonna say 10.
10.
But,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna say 20 now because you did it. But yeah, it's yeah. But for me, it's more because I've been to a lot of them before.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to them, you're gonna find it useful. But
Do you
I've-
think
I've-
so?
Yeah,
Like
but
the
I-
conferences.
Yeah, because there's a lot of interesting talkers, isn't it? You get some boring talkers, literally, they're just so monotone.
But the question
like,
is,
like you just want. You just,
Let me see it.
that was me sipping my
Oh,
juice in
wow.
it.
Oh, you,
was
you're in
pretending-
your juice,
I
yeah?
was pretending it was waffles in it.
Marvin,
looks like
the
a nice
question,
breakfast.
the question is, would you pay £40 or whatever it costs to go for that?
That's the issue there. It's worth
we
it
went
because
for
it's
free.
free.
Yeah.
It's worth it because it's free.
No,
I
no,
don't-
no. It was paid for the people. Like we got it free because we're part of this
So people
mysterious,
pay to go there.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
startup
yeah.
program.
I would be
that-
very disappointed if I had to pay.
Here's the thing: we had a very good meeting with that multi-millionaire. Was
True.
that worth £40 each?
I mean, the silence says a lot.
No, my answer is different from his. I think it was worth.
It was
£40.
worth it.
Me and
The
him.
meal.
Was worth no, the guy that we met a millionaire, multi-millionaire.
Really?
We had a mentoring session. Yeah, we luckily just got it. We got it. Like secured it.
It was really good.
Benefits coming
Like he
later.
made technically he didn't like he gave a, like really good advice and very good
Yeah.
points, but also not something that I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, for me, yeah, he kind of took my brain took my how I perceive my company to a different level. We brought up some new ideas
Oh,
that
fair,
I
yeah,
didn't think
like
of, and
you
I was
did,
just
yeah.
like, yo, this is worth it. This is worth £40. Advice is important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's true.
because I've got to the point where I meet so many people when they give like the same general type of advice in it, which is perfectly fine. It shows that they're all at a good enough level to understand, process what I'm doing in it, which is sick. So I'm not judging no one for that. It's perfect. But when someone comes with something different in it, I'm just like, ooh. There was a guy that we met from Silicon Valley as well. Not at an event. It was a couple months ago.
I didn't go
He
to that
He came
one,
to
yeah.
the campus and it's
Oh
perfect.
yeah.
He literally just the water. Yeah, he took my idea to a whole different level as well when I was speaking to him one on one, talking about like he knows people that would love to invest in me, saying that he knows Rio Ferdinand, who would love to invest in something like me and that. So you get.
Oh,
So
wow.
obviously Rio, if you're watching, you get me. I'm waiting for that call. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it just depends who you meet in it. I think when you go to these events, it's more about the networking. I think and that is good.
I think the same, that you need to have a different mindset, because technically all the conferences are gonna be stuff that at some point you might have just heard, but you're just you haven't applied it before. And in any case, I think who can teach you in 1 hour the key that you need to be successful and to take your company to the next stage. That's totally up to you. It's not.
And a lot of the things that you learn, you can easily watch a YouTube video, or you can read a tutorial, and it's just like.
It's more the atmosphere.
That's the question. What are these events for?
Sorry.
I found it quite like a lot. So besides that meeting, which I think was for me personally was the only reasonable thing there. Okay.
Hashtag shade.
I don't know why that generated such a laugh.
That was a bit of a too harsh of a statement.
It sounded harsh, didn't it? It sounded harsh. Yeah.
But
I feel my issue with the hypocrisy of that is that a lot of those people they're in the positions that we are in, or maybe worse or better. But somehow I don't know. It's just
they're hustling. They're selling themselves.
But it's like info business. It's not real business. They're not really selling the actual services or products. They're like, we're doing this.
So would you class them as fraudsters?
No, I wouldn't. I certainly would not. Like
Marvin's using the sun and the sun's tactics.
Spreading propaganda.
It's like a tabloid guy right here.
Trying to lead Nick down the wrong
Like
path.
I don't want to allege anybody in anything.
No, carry on.
You said. But I feel it's too staged. It's a bit too fake.
If you can run a class or a lecture and you make it, because you're basically going to teach me the same thing I can learn on YouTube, the same thing that someone else is going to teach me. But if you can do it in an engaging way, like you said you went to one of the workshops where the guy had you lot on your phone and you had to do stuff on your phone.
Yeah, we did some sort of personality test that tells you what your core strengths are.
I don't mind that. That's the type, even if he was like a fraudster, I don't mind that, because he's engaging. He's actually I'm gonna learn more. I'm gonna take more from a session like that.
So somebody literally charges you money for you being on your phone.
No, because from what I
I
remember, it actually costs £20 to do the test online. So the guy had some sort of subscription, and he opens it up to everyone. Because it's a legitimate test. So that makes sense.
You're getting value for,
But someone telling you about branding strategy, and then they start talking about corporate branding.
Even those topics, it's something that I'm very interested into. But I don't want to know the theory anymore.
Exactly, you want to
I
know the
want
practice.
to see, the practice. We did this with these brands. Now it's time for you to do. For you to do it, and that's the way, because even if you think about it, you can have all the resources in internet. We all know that we have the resources, but how often do you go there? In any case, it's like learning is different. You can learn how to coding in the internet by yourself. There are plenty of websites. But it's different to actually pay for a workshop that is well structured, and they will give you even the food or whatever on the meantime.
Yeah.
And then that's why people pay. But that's also a reason why this type of conferences, this type of people that like to actually speak, they take advantage of, and they just come and give you garbage knowledge that everybody knows, and then they get away with it.
And they charge a lot of money for that.
Yeah, and they charge a lot of money with that.
I think my issue is that many people who do info business part, they do it mostly because they can't get jobs. It's a very I need to finish not get the jobs in general, get the jobs in the sectors, consulting or something. I mean they might be doing this, maybe it's just financially more benefiting, but it's you go to those workshops, it's I'll teach you how to become a millionaire, and the person might be a very wealthy individual, but probably because they're a good salesman and they were able to sell their workshops, and they get the money from that. And I feel
it's true. To be fair, because I get what you're saying in it, because I actually got I get offered to do loads of talks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And at one point, do you remember at the beginning, I was like, I don't really want to do it because
Yeah.
I haven't even fully started my company yet.
I remember
I
that.
don't feel like I'm credible. That's what I felt like. So I thought, why am I doing this? But then, if so many people are making money off it, I might as well just
Like I remember you told me,
collect the bag, innit?
you told me like after you won the competition,
Yeah.
someone approached you and told you that you should give a talk about how to build a successful business,
Yeah.
but you hadn't even started building your
I
business,
literally, do you know, I still
and
had,
they were willing to pay you for that.
yeah, I literally just had an idea still. I hadn't, the app wasn't built. Even the concept of the app wasn't even developed in my brain yet.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, you need to give a pitch, and I'm just like,
How much were they offering?
Yeah, like I think it would be like, let's say it's an hour. I mean, like a 30-minute talk, hour talk. I think they're offering like £200 or something.
That's some decent money.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why people. Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't turn it down. Yeah.
Quick cash.
And then
Yeah,
you'd have
exactly.
someone like Marvin like lecturing people about how to build a successful business
Basically, yeah.
when he himself
Hasn't
like
done
at that point he didn't even start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean that's that. I think that's all out. I think we all agree on that.
yeah.
I think this is just the world we live in.
Yeah. And you remember you wanted to ask the question: is it ethical to do this?
Yeah, like
You-
it's before that. Like one of the suggested topics I had like a few weeks ago.
Because
was,
we
like,
actually plan for you guys. We sit down and have a meeting and plan what topics we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Um,
we don't improvise here.
We don't,
No
we don't
improvising.
shoot from the hip. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just how ethical is it to like teach something you don't know?
Yeah.
Because I was at some point I was creating like the like videos. How do you call it? Online courses, right? And so one I did on software testing, but it was after like more than a year I think of I worked in software testing, and another one was on like one particular language in software development, which I still kind of knew how to use, but then. My problem with that was that I feel like a lot of people very often like have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like you like yeah like you and actually a lot when I was reading so how to create like a profitable online course,
Yeah.
most of the people who actually do like well they suggest well so I don't know buy a few books, read about it, kind of like paraphrase them and then create a course based on that. But it's like
Yeah. That's a little bit of a gray area,
everything's
like
plagiarized.
ethically.
Everything's plagiarized.
Yeah. It's like just learn as little as possible and then sell it as a
possible
service.
so you can transfer the knowledge
Exactly.
somehow. Do you remember we actually had a workshop very like a couple of months ago I would say, and literally the topics were so attractive. It was like like how to build the application without knowing anything and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and everything was just so
Oh
theoretical.
my.
the snow
Which-
code solutions.
Yeah,
that's actually
like-
that was exactly.
Yeah, but like that's when I also saw the difference and even the need that we have in the society, like for even I would say education at some point, because for me it was useless. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak for myself.
Yeah.
Like it was
I
useless.
think for all of us.
For all of us, maybe it was useless, but I actually go to speak with some other people that say, like, oh no, it's actually very useful. I had no idea that this is how it.
I've heard a good
how-
feedback from
how-
somebody
how
else
it
as
works,
well.
Yeah,
It's always weird when you do that. When you just sat
Yeah.
through a whole thing, you think this is
yeah.
like it just did not help me at all. And then you speak to someone else, and they're like, "Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got so much information." I'm just like, "You could have just got it from YouTube or Google." Like,
Yeah.
you could've-
Yeah, like
yeah.
yeah, but that's the thing. How ethical is that? Like like I never learned like what I was supposed to learn, but.
But you also didn't you do like your bachelor's degree in something like economics?
Yeah. No,
or-
mine is in computer science.
Oh, computer
It's
science. It's for me like because like my when I did my bachelor's degree like it was like economics and management, and it's exactly like exactly your like management book like 101, and so like oh, come on, like do I really have to listen to it again? Like
Oh wow.
like but yeah,
Like how-
but for some people who did not like study it and didn't come across it maybe in some books, I see how it could be very beneficial. But
Yeah.
it's again it's like
Yeah, like
a bit
it's like,
generic.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The good thing here about these events, though, innit? Like, obviously, as entrepreneurs, and business people, you're probably gonna want to find like a partner or wife who's similar mindset, innit? So when you go to these events, there's always gonna be a nice selection.
You threw in wife there so casually. You almost got away with it.
Unexpected, but I will take that.
There's always gonna be a nice selection in it of females with the similar mindset to you, entrepreneurial, business-minded, hungry, go-getters,
Yeah.
bootstrappers. You get me? Who you get me, who you can end up basically building a nice empire with, innit? So
Definitely.
it's a good place to go if you're looking for.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's a
Sweet
good
honey,
way
innit?
to. Wow. It's also a good way to sell your services because you're gonna meet so many people and you'd have to like pitch your idea in 60 seconds.
Sell it to your wife, and then
Sell
all
it
the like in-laws, you know,
your potential wife,
Like-
you know.
like
Yeah.
what was the word? Baba.
Baba?
Baba was the
Father.
yeah father.
Yeah.
I'd be
That-
like, hey
Baba-
father,
Baba.
like tell me, like,
See what
like uncle, buy this place. It's a really good product.
I just spoke about would have been a nice segue into Nick's topic, innit? Facebook dating.
Oh, yeah, but I think that was the last topic.
Yeah.
But we don't have to follow the order.
Yeah, but I don't think that we know about it. So maybe if you want to.
It
Bring it
was, so just something I brought up because recently in the news there was this article that apparently Facebook has released in some countries already their new dating app, and they were meant to release it in Europe. However, it was sort of postponed because they didn't properly negotiate with the data protection agency in Ireland,
Yeah.
and now they are sort of trying to negotiate it and make sure everything works. And here's like the thing, right? Facebook has so much information on you
Exactly.
for like. I mean, I've been using Facebook. I don't
And
know,
they've got
many
Instagram as well,
years.
like, so
And WhatsApp.
and WhatsApp. So every single girl's picture you've liked, it's gonna if they choose on
Exactly.
Facebook, the connection.
But my point about Facebook is that they have it's such a massive like data warehouse that maybe it could work. You know,
I
if
honestly
somebody's like looking for somebody who's
Yeah.
similar to
I
them.
honestly believe it's gonna blow up. I think it's gonna do really well. Like Tinder even gets a lot of the information from Facebook as
Yeah.
well, obviously. But
Yeah.
but it's Facebook is literally gonna. I think this is gonna. Obviously, Facebook wasn't dying out, but I feel like the generation was like slowly passing them by a bit. But
It actually, like,
This is
they had a
this
term
is
for
the game
that.
changer for
Apparently, it
everything.
was called content collapse or something.
they had a what?
A term for that. Because, like, a lot of people, young people, don't post on Facebook.
Basically, yeah.
And they called it content collapse, whereby only, like, professional businesses were posting most of the content and older people.
older generation, mums and
Yeah.
baby
And then,
boomers.
like, they were looking for ways to kind of
Okay,
mitigate it, and then they went out and started buying, like, Instagram and so many other startups.
Yeah.
Like, they spend billions.
Does that mean that Facebook is gonna disappear though? Like,
Probably, I
would.
would.
With this whole dating app thing, I don't think so anymore now. I think literally, I think this might be the game changer.
I mean,
Really?
but
Do
that's
you know,
the thing.
do you know people
That's the
use them
company,
dating
why
apps
would-
like Tinder and stuff like that?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's a multi-billion-dollar.
and also like all those companies. Well, not Tinder. I'm not sure about Tinder, but
Mm.
Instagram belongs to Facebook.
WhatsApp belongs to Facebook.
Yeah.
This
WhatsApp
new
is still, I
dating
think,
app.
number one messaging app.
Yeah.
Instagram the same, number one photo.
I think
It's when American
Messenger is
use
still
WhatsApp,
well
it's crazy.
used, isn't it?
American.
Messenger, I don't think that much. For me, it is, and I don't
Yeah.
use it.
I use
but
I
according
use
to these
Messenger a
guys,
lot.
yeah,
Use
like-
Messenger like the.
A
For
lot,
me,
yeah.
Messenger is my
serious?
new
Oh,
Skype, to be
crazy.
honest.
Yeah,
Like,
every day.
Messenger is my new Skype. Like,
You
whenever
use
I want to
Messenger?
make a video
Oh, you
call,
mean
like,
Facebook
it's
Messenger? Or you mean
Yeah,
the
Facebook
the
Messenger.
phone
Messenger,
Oh,
not
I thought
Messenger, the old
I
one.
thought you meant the
the-
phone messenger. I was like, whoa, that's you lot are
Yeah.
different.
I have used it with a few people actually.
Yeah.
It's quite
The only
interesting.
people that contact me is from on Messenger's O2. Like, that's it. Just O2. That's it. And
O2.
Santander. Like when I owe them. No one else contacts me on Messenger. But yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it's I think Facebook's gonna do really well with this idea. Literally. Do you know how many people are single in this world? Like the marriage success rate is like 40%. It's dropping. Like
Wow, yeah.
there's so many
Crazy.
single people out there. Like
crazy.
and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time. I think.
And even, you know, like the way we interact with each other now with these new dating apps like Tinder and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't believe it until a certain point.
have any of you actually used Tinder before?
No, like Marvin just did, like, he's like, it's gonna be an interesting time, and then he like made some sort of noise. You know, the
Oh, okay.
noise.
Because I was like, why are you looking at me? Like, I don't
I
get
was
it.
waiting for your reaction.
Oh, he did that.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He's like, he was rushing to download Facebook to get ready.
Like,
Yo, as soon as the app comes out, I'm downloading it.
Nah, but you know, you can't.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
No, I mean for educational purposes. Like, so I can bring it to the show. You
Smart.
get me? Yeah.
Smart.
Obviously, yeah.
No, but that's the thing,
You
know.
can't
Like,
either. Have you ever used Have any of you ever used Tinder before?
I remember, obviously, when I was single, I would start, you know, like just swiping and stuff.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, I thought like it was such a silly idea, like to actually go there to meet like someone like proper that that you're trying basically to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
something
yeah.
more than like just.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Just
Tinder's just for sex. Most people know that by now.
No, but that's the thing,
Th- there's-
many years, like, it wasn't until I heard one of my coworkers at that time, like, she was telling another friend of her, like, the story of how she met a new guy and everything,
Yeah.
and how excited she was about it. But, literally everything started, like, okay, so we matched in Tinder, and it was, like, the big thing for her. Like, it was something that, that was meant to be, like, the romantic thing was there.
On
And,
Tinder,
like, it just made me realize how we are interacting with each other, like,
it's all,
right now, like, now,
it's all
yeah,
digital
like,
and it's all online. It's crazy.
yeah, like, we're, like, it's not like before, like, I would approach a girl from the beginning and, like, okay, like, maybe a couple of jokes, what's your number,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Wait,
Like, it's
so
all
I know
on
guys
Tinder now.
who literally they'll see a girl in person and be like, yeah, I hope I match with her later. They're so scared
Yeah.
to talk to her in person.
Wow. So what is like
All you gotta do
Tinder?
is shout like, yo, you're Beyonce, come here, but none of them want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have heard that's the way they do it. Yeah,
I heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Tinder's business model like?
What's Tinder's business model?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, like, I think you
Do
know
they serve
this
ads?
You have subscription. They sell. I think they do have ads, and they have
Okay.
subscription-based model as well.
And do you know like how
Few
much
tiers.
they're making?
I don't know.
Must be a ton.
I think
However,
it's a
they are
private
losing a bit
company.
of the market right now. I think.
Mm.
I'm not sure. Like, I think they're losing a bit of the
Lots
market
of
because there are
competitors.
a lot of competitors on the list,
Yeah.
and with many cool, unique features.
Yeah.
Like this Bumble one, I remember when it just came out. It was supposed to be like a feminist kind of like dating application that only.
Feminist dating application.
Yeah, kind of.
What, that
like
empowers
was
the women?
That was the aim. Like, so if you match with a girl, yeah, you cannot have like she is the one that must
Oh,
make
like
the
in that
first,
way. Yeah,
the first,
1.2 billion.
Okay.
the
last
first
year.
connection, yeah.
Wait, 1.2 billion.
Tinder,
Billion.
yeah, Tinder, mate.
Freaking man.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Crazy, the crazy fact of the day.
That's loads of. Do you know what that means? That means a lot of people having sex. That's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
People, yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up because apparently. Look at this. He's like, Karam, I can't.
No. I'm
Can't
just
let
like
it through.
I'm
Can't
just
let
like
it through.
mocking the
Censorship.
the-
Cut.
you know the potential errors that we have to listen to later on.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was some
Thank you.
study which
Hitler
I think there was a study. I don't know how much of a authoritative work that was, or like how like believable it is or whatever.
Yeah.
But apparently it says that in new age of technologies with apps like Tinder, etc., and other dating
Yeah.
applications, and everybody being on mobile phones and messengers,
Mm.
people having a significantly less sex.
Less.
Yes.
I heard it was
How is
more.
that even possible?
I heard it was more actually. I heard it's easier because it's easier to access.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
their argument was in the thing I wrote. What is it? The thing I wrote and the thing I read was that because of there's so much choice and it's kind of it's not real. Like this choice is not actually
Oh.
real. It's sort of like you have a
crazy,
feeling
yeah.
of choice and you don't sort of you give up on
Yeah.
the what you have.
I thought
It would be. I'll try to look it up
Yeah, 'cause I remember
and
I was-
just
I-
attach a link
I was
if I
reading
can
a few
find
months
it.
ago and they were saying people having way more sex and there's a way more like and there's way more diseases out there. There's way more
Mm.
risk of like STDs and stuff because people are just having a lot more unprotected sex in it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is like the amount of sex has gone down or up?
I think all of this segment.
But I think it's actually good. I mean, we're
This-
turning
this part.
we're turning into like wise.com or something. but
It's
This
ridiculous.
is
I
something-
keep telling Isu he needs to.
Yeah, we
he needs to
actually
go-
have
go
a
on
question
Muslim
from
shit.
Katie from.
Katie.
Katie gonna wear that.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I met my boyfriend in
Hey,
Tinder.
Oh my
Like, I
God.
met
Why-
that
why-
boyfriend
so
in
what-
Tinder. Shall we uninstall the application once we met each other? Like,
Yeah, what's the etiquette behind that, by the way?
I think yeah, you should. If you're dating someone, if you officially decide that you're dating, you
yeah,
should
I guess if
literally,
you
that-
sort of
yeah,
agree
delete
that you
that.
are
Delete that,
dating,
yeah.
then you should.
yeah.
Definitely.
a lot of guys tend to delete that, but obviously they don't actually delete their profile. And it,
A lot of guys. Who are these guys? They speak off.
Marvin. Unbelievable.
I'm just messing up all the man them's games. And that.
Wow. But anyway, let's get back on topic, back on track. I
I
haven't forgot
We
what-
lost it.
I forgot
We were talking
dating
about
apps or
dating app on
something.
Facebook, yeah.
Oh yeah, the dating app.
But yeah,
So
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're probably gonna release it fairly soon. They were meant to release it like last week or something.
It was
like
released
1.2.
already. The
in here.
Apparently-
native app. Yeah.
Apparently, it's very
it was.
popular in Brazil and the US right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
1.2
Or
billion
I
for
don't
Tinder.
remember if it was when I came back from Ecuador, but I already
It was
had
it
a
was in
section.
South America, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then probably yeah, that's why I saw it. Like
meant to-
there was a section already for meeting new people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is like something that
It's a whole separate sign.
like your uncle that just went through a divorce will get into.
I think that's where it's gonna start. I
Like,
think that's where it's gonna start. But Facebook are gonna try and hit the younger market through
I don't
Instagram.
know.
Yeah.
Through Instagram. And stuff
Have you
like
noticed like most of Facebook's features, like you see them ending up on Instagram,
yeah.
like a lot of it,
that. Yeah, yeah.
or like a lot of Instagram's features end up on Facebook. Like
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the stories, Instagram stories, Facebook, WhatsApp
Yeah.
stories.
yeah.
But
who had
didn't
stories first, Instagram or Facebook?
It was Snapchat, and then
Yeah,
like,
Yeah,
Snapchat
and
at first, but
then Instagram
stole
like
it, and then-
basically
and then Facebook took it from.
Yeah.
and probably
Okay.
like Instagram adopting the stories kind of decreased the popularity of Snapchat, didn't it?
definitely. But
Yeah,
Snapchat, I was surprised.
They
Like
messed up. They ruined Snapchat. I think.
I thought
Yeah.
Snapchat was like gonna collapse, but they've actually, I think
done
they,
well.
Yeah,
they're
like,
still
I
doing
don't
really
know
well.
why people use that. Like, I still don't understand like how, as a business model, like they work. Like,
No,
I don't know why I used to
don't-
use it.
I
The
don't-
people I know that use it, yeah, they like to use. Well, not the people I know, but I know a lot of people like to use it for like, oh, I can send something to someone for 7 seconds and it gets deleted straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
And
well, yeah, maybe that. I think that's the only.
But
But I
unique
think
feature they
Instagram
have
has
right
that
now,
functionality as well. Like when you send an Instagram,
just delete.
yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
it's
yeah,
like
you
5
can,
seconds.
You
and then
can
it goes.
adjust that, I think, but like one of the main principles of user experience, like don't make me think. Like if the application already does that by default, then
Yeah,
that's different.
that's
No, it is
That's
by
different.
default. Like if I was
Well,
to
for
send
Instagram,
you
it's by
an
default.
Instagram,
Mm.
like if I take the Instagram video and send it to you, I think it, like the person can view it and then it goes.
If
Well,
it's a
not for me.
story,
Well,
Well,
no,
yeah,
you,
but
can, you
yeah.
can rewatch it
Not for me,
for
like,
24
when I-
hours
yeah.
usually.
You know what? I'll do it while you guys continue talking.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to play a game?
yes.
Yep,
Would you
let's
like to
play
play a
It would be a
game?
good idea to
Yep.
So,
wrap up
on
because
Product
it's
Hunt, there
almost 1
recently was this thing where it's like a challenge, sort of some sort. You have 60 seconds to pitch X for Y, something for something, and they like randomly generate the business idea. Maybe you could put it on the computer.
X for Y.
Yeah. Oh, this
Wait,
is the Product Hunt one, so the next one, the
Wait,
next step.
Do you want to?
Oh no, you close the tab then, I guess. Yeah, just.
X for Y website.
Oh yeah, it was open. It was open. The one on the left, higher.
Yeah. You want to introduce the segment again? No, we'll just cut this part out and then do it.
Well, I've just introduced it.
No, but it was like messy.
It's fine. It's good.
Okay.
Because if I reintroduce, we have to cut it.
Yeah.
But now we don't have to cut it.
We'll manage to cut it somehow. But anyway, carry on.
Unbelievable. So, for
What-
example, you have 60 seconds to pitch.
This not-
the
this
previous
not a
one.
good one.
The previous ones were okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay, so Netflix for croissants, but give us an example.
No.
because-
Read the,
Netflix for
About-
France.
read the title.
Netflix for France.
So you have 60 seconds. There's a timer. You have
The timer,
45
45
seconds left to pitch, to do the elevator pitch for
Okay.
Netflix for France.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. La pellicule, le movie at your home. At your home. Every movie at your home anytime. Just get it now on Netflix.com. Thank you so much.
It does rhyme, but doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I don't know, isn't that French?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, okay, next one, go.
Next.
Oh!
Snapchat, but for esports. Marvin,
I'll give
come on.
that to you since you like esports and Snapchat so much.
First, I do not like Snapchat. I like Twitter.
Don't waste time.
I like Twitter.
Bitch.
No, that's
got
not mine.
45
It's
seconds,
yours.
like, you got
Come on, Marvin. Snapchat for
You
esports.
got 45 seconds. Like, esports. Okay, where can I go with this? Like, I have no idea where I'm gonna go with this. By the way, so the company is called eSnap, and it's a way to do. No, I can't even go there. Like, I was gonna say something. I was gonna talk about them games, yeah. Them warlock games, yeah, where people like move mad with characters. And, like, yeah, I was gonna say you can.
Next, Nick.
That's boring.
Twitter for millennials. YouTube for carbon offsetting. Come on, Nick.
What if I told you? You
YouTube
could
for
go
carbon.
to a website that was just like YouTube, but all you could see there was Greta Thunberg.
Wow. Wow.
I think we got a winner already. Like.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You press a button,
I don't know why that's so.
and the button, so the website probably should be called "How Dare You?"
Wow.
Oh, I can't even.
I didn't say anything bad. Why are you looking at that?
No, I'm just looking.
He's writing down. Like, I was so careful not to say anything wrong.
Time's up.
He was actually being careful, wasn't it? What's making me laugh is I know what he wanted to say as well. Like.
No, it was funny. Yeah. But I'm just like writing it down.
Good. You just
for
like
fun,
writing.
you know.
Exactly.
All right.
So-
Do we have any topics? Or oh, you have to. You have to
What's
do
the
yours.
next one? Yeah.
Intercom for
for
esports.
esports. That's similar to Marvin's
Yeah, yeah.
brilliant idea.
Stripe
for
This
cats.
is what we-
Oh,
this is
coming
what we
back
use
to
that-
payment technology.
Payment. And
This
cats,
is actually on topic. So
Payment and cats.
Stripe for cats. We'll call it Meows.
Yaps.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's are you a cat owner? Do you want the latest cat products delivered straight to your home? Are you tired of giving your credit card details to so many different vendors? Welcome to Meows, the
I-
payment platform that will that's basically like PayPal for your cat
he
products.
plays this a lot. You can tell he plays this
You
a
know,
lot.
you know how it works. So basically,
You must play this a
you know,
lot.
like how pigeons here, like
Yeah.
the sky rats.
Sky Rats.
So,
The Queen Sky Rats, he says. Like, he called them the Queen Sky Rats.
like the post ones, the one deliver mail.
Yeah.
So when you want to make a payment, a special cat comes to your house, and they carry like a small backpack,
You-
and you put like a check or maybe a credit card in the backpack of a cat, and the cat runs back to the company, and
He
then
looks so serious.
and then
think that-
and then the transaction goes through. So if it's a credit card, then the cat will bring the credit card back, and if it's a check, that just you deliver the cat delivers the check, and then
Oh, wow.
it's signed off, and it's like
I think that's
withdraw. So I think it's a really good infrastructure. It's like using dogs to attack like tanks and stuff. Like during the World War, they've used them. So.
Yeah, I remember they used to do that.
So-
Was that like the Russian
He took that serious,
military?
boy.
That
they
just
might
took like
have-
another
they-
turn.
Another
They
turn,
might
yeah.
have done it, yeah.
And
Okay.
Mr.
Okay,
Alvaro.
guys, that's been all for today. We're gonna wrap up. Have a good one. Have a good week. Enjoy your adventure. Adventure. Enjoy your
Adventure. Very good.
And we will see you next week. Alvaro saying goodbye here.
We
Back to
shall
you.
see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. And
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good luck.
Good luck. Peace.